topic is how to roll your own religion, and it's a drug reference. You want to roll up a little joint and smoke it and enjoy yourself. That's fine, and maybe you can share it with some friends.
It's illegal, though.
Yeah,
in the United States.
We're not advocating anybody do that. We're actually not advocating anybody create their own religion. But if you want to do it, if you want to, then these are some of the things that you're going to need to do. That's what I'm going to talk about today.
And I'm going to crochet while Don talks.
Yeah, and one reason to do this, I mean, there's two big reasons to do this. One big reason is you'll make a lot of money, right? And the other big reason is you'll probably have a lot of sex. So those you know, if you're starting your own religion, those are probably a couple of things that you'll benefit by.
Granted, not every homegrown religion is has
sure.
a lot of sex. I mean, it seems to be the trend, though.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, once you've proclaimed yourself a Messiah, then you need to.
Yeah, there's the Shakers years ago in the 19th century that kind of bred themselves out of existence because they were so sexually repressed that they didn't reproduce. The other religions seem to get that better. Well,
I'm in favor of that, by the way.
Reproducing is probably a good thing.
If you've got some wacky kind of religion, feel free to be abstinent.
Yeah, feel free to keep it to yourself. Okay, so suppose you're kind of a scrap science fiction writer, and you're frustrated with your lack of money, and you say, well, writing for a penny a word is ridiculous. If a man really wants to make $1 million, the best way to do that is to start his own religion. And this is a quote by somebody who started a religion recently, is L. Ron Hubbard. So if you want to create a religion, you have to solve a couple problems. First, you have to hook some believers, get them in the front door. Once you sort of start having believers, you have to maintain a following and get people to come and follow and bring their friends in. And then down the road, when it becomes very mature, you have to build institutions around that religion. And those are the three things I wanted to talk about, those three problems and how to make that happen. And today I want to focus a bit on some modern religions, mostly Rylaianism, which was created by a guy named Claude Vorilhon, who it's a kind of a science fiction-y space alien religion, which is kind of amusing. It's more amusing than
which I've heard is mostly a sex cult.
It's a sex cult, yeah.
And
in some ways, this religion's an outlier because it's actually kind of more of a club or business or whatever. There's Scientology, which was started by L. Ron Hubbard, and there's Mormonism, who was started by Joseph Smith. Now, all three of these we know they were created. I mean, we know all religions were created, okay, by humans, but these ones we know who created them, when they did it. There's lots of evidence for them, and these make good examples for these things. But we'll also talk about Judaism and Christianity and Islam, which are also made-up religions. Islam and Mormonism have a lot in common. It's kind of interesting. They're both, prophets with visitations by angels and all sorts of magic stuff and book dictation and all that good stuff. So all these religions are man-made. They have similar mechanisms to solve the problems they face. Another point is that all religions are more similar than different. And so by looking at how another religion solves a problem, you can get a better perspective on how maybe your own religion solves that same problem and these sorts of things. Let's see. And I had a lot of fun preparing for the show because one man's theology is another man's belly laugh. I was hooking believers. Well, how do you get believers in the door? And there's a bunch of common gimmicks that happen. One of them is to present yourself as a religious leader as some sort of prophet with special knowledge. And I talked about in an earlier episode the scamlet of special knowledge, that you have some special knowledge that provides you some benefit and that sort of thing. And if you really do have this special knowledge, why are you trying to dole it out in bits and pieces to somebody? Why aren't you actually doing something useful with it? But this is a common gimmick. Another gimmick is for you to have some sort of story, some sort of narrative that both answers the larger questions, about where we've come from or where we're going, and also relates it to the believer. So the story will give the believer a sense of place in the universe and justify the religion. So these are two things. So let's talk about leader as prophet, somebody who claims to have special or divine knowledge, and this happens in a lot of religions. So there's some sort of revealed truth, some sort of angel that came down and said something, or you got some sort of vision, or in the case of Raelianism, there's an alien visitation, these sorts of things. So there's this special knowledge. And if the person who has this thing, if they have some charisma, it really helps, because that helps them sort of market this special knowledge. And one of the things you want to make sure with this special knowledge that you have is that it's not verifiable. You know, when you have your alien visitation, you definitely want to make sure that that nobody else saw that, so that you definitely have the claim, or nobody else saw you out drinking that night instead.
If
right?
you really did have an alien visitation, then ideally you would want people there who could confirm it. Eyewitness testimony, you know, video footage would be.
But what you find with these claims is that people don't have any real evidence for them, but what they do have is they have friends that back it up. You know, the friends that are often related to the religion, so they have this conflict of interest thing. So with the case of Rael, who's the guy, Claude Vorilhon, he claimed that he had visitation from some aliens. Joseph Smith had a visitation from an archangel. Paul of Tarsus had a visitation from Jesus. Muhammad has a visitation from an archangel. L. Ron Hubbard didn't, for Scientology, didn't have a vision of sorts, but he claims to be a prophet in the sense that he claimed to be a prophet in the sense that he had sort of this special knowledge of how to make yourself better. He kind of played into the pop psychology theme. So we have the leader as having some sort of special knowledge, and that gets people kind of interested. But once they come in the door, they kind of want to have more. They kind of want to have a kind of a story that goes along with it, and again, you want to have some sort of sense of place in the universe, some sort of cause. It answers some big questions, maybe not necessarily truthfully. That gives you a notion of your destiny in the world. But it also needs to seal the importance of the religion, and the prophet has to be a character in that story too. So the prophet has to be the one bringing this wonderful message, and the story creates an us and them sort of thing. And ideally, the people who believe this story are the special ones. They're the ones that are chosen by the gods, and everybody else is ignorant, or you have some sort of special fate in store for you. It gives you special hope, these sorts of things. So it's an us and them sort of thing, and the people that don't subscribe to that story are the evil ones, the ones to be pushed away, that sort of thing. So these are some of the things you want to see in a narrative like this.
Or they may be the ignorant ones who are to be pitied because they have not had the benefit of seeing the truth.
Right, or the ones to go out and recruit, right, because they need to be pulled in. It also is just fine if your narrative it takes a story that's common already in the world, and you see this with religions a lot, where one religion steals a whole bunch of stuff from another religion and then spins it to often a different direction. And that's definitely what happened with Mormonism, for example. It borrowed from a particular brand of Christianity, made some changes, and then repackaged it and sent it out as a new thing. Even the Raelians even claim to have this alien race is called the Elohim, which I find very amusing, because that's the in the Bible, that is the race to which Yahweh was supposedly belonged, right? And he was one of the gods. And so what the Raelians are doing is they're saying, well, this God story you have over here is true, but we have a better interpretation of it. It's the one, you have a kind of a limited understanding of this greater picture that we have. So that's the sort of scam they're doing. But then they take it off in another direction and say, well, these Elohim are actually space aliens. They're not really gods, and they created humans by cloning, and they go off on this other weird tangent.
Which, by the way, is very much the same story that the Mormons have.
Yeah.
They're space aliens, and
there's a lot of similarities there, right? That God is really a space alien that lives on near the planet Kolob, K-O-L-E, and so his version is kind of a spin on Christianity. Mormonism is kind of a spin on Christianity, where all the events take place in the New World and the Americas, and there's all this claim of this lost tribe of Israel coming to the Americas, you know, hundreds of, or tens of thousands of years ago, before any humans were really here, and all these claims. And it turns out, you know, as with the case of the Rylians and the Mormonism, none of it's true, and Mormonism is like most of the claims are false. So it's just really pretty sad.